Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena. I'm the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Here on my channel, we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, all the things in between, including books, and that's what we're going to talk about, as you can see from the title. So nobody, not one person, asked, but I'm going to answer anyways. I'm going to do the currently reading tag. I believe that's what it's called. I will link down below the original video from this. It's actually a couple years old. I think it's like 7 years old. So I will link that for you. I first saw this video on Bailey's bookshelf, so I will link that for you down below, as well as Amanda from Book Lover Amanda, because I think I found Bailey through Amanda, and both of them have this tag on their videos. So I'll link them both for you down below. But like I said, nobody, not one person asked me, but we're gonna answer them anyway. So technically I wasn't tagged in here. So clearly, if you're not tagged, please feel free to answer the questions too. I'll link that down below for you also. And if you don't have a channel and don't wanna make a video, just answer the questions down below in the comment section. So I didn't memorize the questions. I clearly heard the questions because I watched the videos, but it's been a few days since I caught up on those videos. So let's dive in and get into the questions. The first question is, how many books do you usually read at once? I try to read just one book at once, but lately I've been reading a couple at one time. So I would say anywhere from 2, the max 3. And that's because I've been going back and forth between reading actual physical books and reading digital books. And then sometimes I will go between reading like a nonfiction and a fiction book at the same time. I feel like I can keep those pretty well separated. And then continually throughout the year, I'm reading the Bible. So I guess at any given point, I could be reading like anywhere from 3 to 4 books technically. But I consider the Bible not a book that I'm reading, like typically picking up and reading cover to cover in that sense of the word. Second question is, if you're reading more than one book at once, how do you decide when to switch to reading the other book? Do you have a certain amount of pages that you read in each book? So no, I do not have a certain amount of pages that I read in each book. I am one of those people that likes to finish a chapter though as I read. So I like to get to the end of a chapter. I don't like to stop reading mid-chapter, but sometimes that happens. I have to, but I prefer not to. I at least want to get through one chapter, but it all depends on the circumstances. So if I'm reading a book on my phone, which is where I do like Kindle reading and things like that, I don't have an ebook like reader dedicated just for ebooks. I just read them on my phone. I will pick that up if it's in the evening hours and or late at night and I can't sleep because I'm horrible and I have my phone next to me. I'm trying to break myself of that habit, but again, I'll pick up an ebook in the night instead of switching on a light to read because I don't want to wake up my husband or anybody else by coming, downstairs and turning lights on and things like that. I do prefer to read physical books, but like I said lately, ever since September, I think I really got on a kick with reading ebooks, and I don't mind those either. I don't have a certain number of pages that I'm reading or chapters. It just depends on the circumstances and where I'm at. If I'm home and available and I won't disturb anybody by having a physical book out or having the light on, I will read that. Or if I'm out and about and I don't have my physical book with me, then that's the time that I'm typically reading the ebook also. My heater just kicked on, so I hope it's not too loud for you. It is old and kind of loud, but it's nice so we can stay warm. Third question is, do you ever switch bookmarks when you're halfway through a book? Or I think, well, you are partway through a book. Yes, because I don't use typical bookmarks. I am one of those people that will just use whatever's next to me. I do want to get some more bookmarks. It's just something that I haven't done. So if I have a bookmark near me, I'll pick it up and use that bookmark, but I will use like a scrap piece of paper. I will use notes from my planner. I'll just tear out a small piece of notes or a post-it note if I have one nearby. I've used pieces of mail, which is not great because you definitely don't want to lose that or get it stuck in a book, or heaven forbid I turn my library book back in and it has one of our pieces of mail in there. And I know this is going to kill some people, but if it's my book, not a library book, not a borrowed book, if it's my book and it's older, sometimes I will dog-ear the pages. I know, don't come for me. If it's an older book, we thrift a lot of our books, and if I feel like it's an old enough book, I will go ahead and do it. I don't typically do it on the brand new books I buy. I think just because I'm trying to keep it pretty, but I do what I gotta do to remember the page that I'm on. I'm not very good at memorizing what chapter or page I've stopped on. Question 4, where do you keep the book you are currently reading? Well, like I mentioned, some of the books, the digital books, are on my phone, so wherever, you know, that goes with me where I go. I already mentioned my terrible habit of having it in my bedroom at night. So there's that. I'm trying to break it. I'm trying to break that habit. If you know how to break that habit, let me know down below. It's probably just something as simple as stop bringing it in your room, but I don't know. Anyways, but the physical books, I'm trying to remember because I don't have any one spot that I keep that in. We do have one spot in our home where we keep our library books, and that's just to help deter my kids from losing library books. So we have a basket in one portion of our house, and that's where all the library books are supposed to go. But they do have a tendency to wander around the house, especially as we're reading them. But I don't have one cozy like reading nook. We actually have a couple of cozy nooks to read in, or what I hope are cozy nooks, spots to read in and be comfortable and read. I don't have any one spot where I keep the current book that I'm reading. It's just wherever I was able to pick up the book last. Question number 5 is, what time of the day do you spend reading? Or what time of day do you spend the most time reading? Sorry, I'm trying not to like read right off the screen, but I'm not doing a great job at memorizing these very short questions and looking into the camera. I read when I can. I am the homeschooling mom to 3 kiddos, so my time is spent primarily doing mom duties and home duties and that kind of stuff. It just depends on what's happening in our life, what's happening in our situations, what's happening with the kiddos, how school's going, how chores are going, how I'm feeling, that kind of stuff. So I will read whenever I can and for as long as I can. It just, like I said, depends on what the kiddos are doing. We used to have a set quiet time in our house, but we've gotten away from that, and I'm really trying to just get back into a rhythm of homeschool before I can implement like our daily rhythms of quiet time and hopefully get in some quiet reading time again. But right now I am just reading mostly on the weekends or in the early morning hours, or again late at night. Question 6, how long do you typically read for in one go? So I kind of already answered that one. I read for as long as the kids will let me, or as long as life permits. If I am reading while waiting an appointment for one of my kiddos, I will just read until I'm needed in the appointment or the appointment is over. If I am reading in the evening hours, I will just read until I'm feeling drowsy again and can go back to sleep. I am one of those people that when I wake up in the middle of the night, it is really, really hard for me to get back to sleep. And so I used to spend a lot of time on watching videos on YouTube and things like that, and I've been trying to do a little bit more reading just to break my habit of having my phone in my room. But since I'm reading the electronic books, it's not really working. But anyways, I'll read until I get drowsy again. If it's the weekend and it's a physical book, I will read, honestly, if the book I'm really into, I will read for as long as I can. So if my family is kind of doing their own thing, we'll all be in the same room relaxing, but doing our own activities. So like if my husband is watching a game I don't really particularly want to watch, or the kids are watching a movie that I've seen like 50,000 times, I will be there present in the room with them. I'll typically have a book in my hands and be reading that. So there's no, again, I don't get like a solid 1 hour every day type thing in. It's just for as long as I can, when I can. Question 7, do you read hardcovers with the dust jacket on or off? I typically read them with the dust jacket on. I totally see the appeal though of reading it with the dust jacket off. So I have some really thick hardcover books, but not a lot. I don't know if I have any on this shelf actually. I don't. But if it's like a super thick book, thicker than this book, I will take the dust jacket off because it's really hard to like, I don't know what makes it feel like slippery to me or really hard to keep it open. But like I said, I will use anything and everything as a bookmarker. So if it is a small enough type hardcover book, I'll use the flap of the hardcover book as my bookmarker. And so I'll just And I know that probably makes some people cringe too. And if I get too far to the other side, then I just use the back flip of that, the back flap of it. But I typically read with the hardcovers on. I haven't organized this bookshelf. Be on the lookout. I do want to get our bookshelves organized, but we haven't done that yet. Question 8 is, which position do you mainly use to read? I'm either like sitting up on the couch or lying down in bed. But that's the other thing with reading physical books at night, when you're laying down and then you're like, especially me trying to fall back asleep, if you get drowsy enough, that book's coming for your face. So I really like that my phone is so small, because I can typically catch it before I'm too drowsy, before it hits my face. But I typically read physical books sitting up, like I said, in the couch, or if I have it with me, I will read it on appointments and things, and then ebooks laying down. Question 9 is, do you take the book you're currently reading everywhere you go? I do not, and I think you get the gist of that. If the book is small enough, I will put it in my purse and take it with me. But I typically, like especially hardcovers, it just makes your bag so much heavier. And I am already carrying, as a mom, like extra things for my kiddos. My kiddos are not young, so it's not like I have a full-on diaper bag, but I do have a child who is on the autism spectrum, and so I carry a lot of like sensory tools and other items with me, and just, you know, random mom things that just kind of make life a little bit easier. Crayons, paper, stickers, all the things, plus all the mom things you need out there in this world. And so I usually have an oversized bag that's already full of stuff, and so putting a hardcover book in, I don't want to put the extra weight in, so I will leave that at home. But sometimes my paperback books, if they're light enough, I will bring them along with me. And then of course, like I said, if I happen to be reading one on my phone, I have my phone with me. Question 10 is, how often do you update your progress in the book you are currently reading on Goodreads? I never do, because I'm not on Goodreads. I don't use Goodreads. I used to, but now I'm using Storygraph, and I will update that. I try to update that. I do a lot better with my physical books, because sometimes the digital books page number doesn't line up right, and it just irks me to see. This is such a silly thing, but it gives you the update, and you can put like how many pages you read, and then it gives you the percentage of the book that you've read through. But the ebook pages don't always line up to the actual physical book pages. And so if my progress on like 20%, but then on the ebook it's showing that I've only read like 10%, then that just irks me that they're two different numbers. So I won't update it until I finish reading it. But I do like to, I have been getting better about putting in my current start date and when I finish a book, because it gives you these really cool graphs and things like that. I think Goodreads does too, I can't remember, but it gives you these really cool graphs about how much you read per month in the pages. And I was updating for a while, when I can get into it, my reading journal. And I don't know, I just kind of geek out about those things, and I really like to see the different graphs and charts and how much I've read, and it tracks your books and things like that. So I will, on my physical books, try to go in, because I think it's kind of cool to see the percentage of how much the book you've read. But I don't do that with my ebooks. And then for the actual start and finish, I definitely try to get those in there, because like I said, I geek out and I like to see like how many books I read that month and how many pages I read and all that fun stuff. So I don't know. Let me know if you're like that too, and you just, it's fun for you to see that. And then the last question is to tag someone. Now, I think we've covered this, that I don't know anybody personally in the booktube world, really in the video content world. So I just want to say, if you've not been tagged and you want to do this, please do it. Consider this your tag. That way you can just not be like me and just come out and do it on your own anyways. You can say you officially have a tag now. And if you don't have a video channel, then just go ahead and answer the questions down below. I think these are some really fun questions, and I just wanted to make a quick video and answer a few. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and getting to know a little bit more about me and my reading habits. If you like this video, would you please give it a thumbs up? It helps my channel so much. And if you're slightly entertained and want to see more of our inspiration amongst the chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future inspiration amongst the chaos. As always, I truly appreciate you being here with me, and I know we say this in almost every video, but I really do appreciate you taking your time out of the day and spending it here with me. Thanks so much for watching.